From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know.
There is currently a great debate, and you've heard it on this show before, fellow conspiracy realists, about the future of human interaction with technology. Will humans all become cyborgs? Will humans all become inherently Gnostic with some digital version of them living almost separately from the physical version?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Yes again.
And,
1,000 times yes.
And kudos to Matt also, man, for making the choice not to go to the theater to see The Matrix. I was on the fence too, but
that was a tough decision, and I'm glad that you made the same one, so I didn't feel so bad.
Yeah, and Noel, you didn't go to the theater for The Matrix yet, did you?
No, I didn't. I started watching it. I watched about the first 10 minutes or so, and then I kind of just drifted off. I'm not saying I'm not going to revisit it. I do hope to enjoy it. I'm not as big of a Matrix head as some, but I'm excited to give it a shot. I'm hearing mixed things, but I definitely am I want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, this is what, like, the first time in my life I avoided spoilers, which is a very weird place for me to be. But anyhow, one of the things that we talked about with the future of technology, and we are going to the future here, was how silly it may seem to future generations to hear us telling stories about interacting with technology with our hands. Very soon, within your lifetime as you're listening to this, it is quite possible that typing on a keyboard may seem as archaic as using a landline rotary phone. For anyone younger in the audience who doesn't know what those are, phones used to be these single function devices, and instead of a keypad, you would have this weird little circle, and you would turn that circle clockwise to put in numbers. And that already sounds so old, but we're reaching a hands-free future now for the first time in official human history. A man who was paralyzed, a human being who was paralyzed, was able to post a tweet without their hands, without the use of any body part other than the brain. So congratulations to Philip O'Keefe in Australia. Philip is 62 years old. Philip has a condition called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And he was, with the help of a brain implant, able to make a tweet through the power of thought alone. He manifested it, you could say.
Wow. That's
Yes.
pretty cool. So how does this doodad work?
So this is a thing called a brain-computer interface, or BCI, because we're all weirdly in love with acronyms here. This goes back to our Elon Musk conversation, because the technocrats of the world very much want to do things like this. The Musk, the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos of the world, his implant comes from a company called Synchron, and they want to develop this implant as think of it like a prosthetic, right? Like if you are missing a hand, you can get and you're relatively privileged, you can get any number of prosthetic devices that will attempt to perform some of the functions of your biological late hand. In this case, they're putting this prosthetic, that's the way they would like to describe it, this implant, they're putting this prosthetic into his brain to replace some of the other functions that he's lost due to his condition.
Do you think that's an optics thing, Ben? Like a PR thing? Implant sounds too creepy and sci-fi?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. We live in a world where people are rightly skeptical often about invasive technology, right? And sometimes you'll hear people phrasing a vaccine as an invasive technology. And that was quite controversial for a while. And that's because of things like the Tuskegee experiments, just to be very candid. With this idea, we talked about the concept of ad-supported implants. Remember that? It was a number of months ago, I think. We were all sort of thought experimenting. We were exploring the idea of an implant that would allow you access to the internet. And it gets very Black Mirror. What was that episode where the guy has to watch ads?
Well, it's a number of merits was the name of the.
That's it. Yeah,
the in-game currency that allows you to skip the ads by spending these merits, and you earn them by doing an exercise bike that I think turns out powers the world. Sorry, spoiler.
Yeah.
That's pretty much done.
Well, he gets a YouTube show at the end, or some version thereof. But this conversation we had really stuck with me. We were talking about that kind of devil's bargain, that kind of Faustian deal. You don't have to type anything. You don't have to have a physical device with you. You just have to sit through an ad for the new $22,600 Tesla Model S battery before you can hear the weather or the news. I also have the guy's tweet if you would like to hear that.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It is pretty awesome. This is coming from Thomas Oxley. Thomas Oxley is not the guy with the implant. Thomas Oxley is the Synchron CEO. The tweet that you see, which is from O'Keefe, it just says, "No need for keystrokes or voices. I created this tweet just by thinking it. Hashtag Hello World BCI." I don't know. I mean, things are different now. Now that we know this is feasible and possible, there are going to be a lot of eyes on O'Keefe to see what his cognitive development is like, to see whether this affects him. But I'm going to say it. I'm torn, guys. I see this as profoundly inspiring, and it could be amazing for so many people, but it's also kind of dangerous. I think a lot of people have impulse problems. I've woken up, and in the past and looked back on the day before and thought, glad I kept that one in drafts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I agree. What we need to talk about is how it physically functions, how the technology functions. Could we do that, Ben? Just really quickly?
Yeah. Let's walk through it.
So when you're going to get one of these things, let's say like this person we're discussing today, you have ALS and you're unable to, function the way you used to function or would like to function with your.
This is a condition that causes like full body paralysis, right? In its advanced stages.
Yes. Exactly. So you've got something like that, or maybe you're just like you right now, however your system functions, they would go in and they said they went through his jugular vein.
Yes. And how do they keep you from bleeding out when they do a thing like that? I'm sure they cauterize it as it goes or whatever, but it's definitely a dangerous procedure, I imagine.
I've been over here wincing a little bit. I have problems with internal body stuff, but they would go through, and across the top of the brain, there's this like mesh strip that kind of lays there. Mm-hmm. And somehow, beyond me, your the motor, what is it? The
neurons?
Things, the things that your brain does, the signals your brain sends in order to achieve movement still occur. This thing picks it up. But then down through your body, in your chest, inside of your body, there's a wire that goes down, and then implanted under your skin, there's a little, like a magnetized thing here, right?
Yeah.
And then in order to actually use this system, you have a separate machine that has a transmitter on it and a little piece that connects to that thing that's in your chest. And then that's what's physically sending signals to another device attached to your computer or your network, right?
Yeah, and it's about the size of a matchstick, the actual stentrode itself.
There's a great picture of it on the Independent article that you linked to us in your notes, Ben.
Oh yeah. It's it doesn't look like something you would want inside you. I'm just gonna make that call. Like it doesn't. That's the thing. This is not super convenient at this point. But this idea, or this idea is an older idea, but for it to actually happen changes a great deal of industries in ways that we can't understand. This is so new that human civilization, the smartest apes around, still, I would guess, have no idea what future applications of this could be. It could be deep brain stimulation for Parkinson's. If you look at that independent article we mentioned, you will see exactly how this system works. I would say you could call it, counting the human, you could call it kind of a 5-component system. You have to have a computer, right? You have to have an eye tracker on that computer. You have to have the SCU, signal control unit. You have to have this implant, and you have to have that thing going into your vein. This is the thing is, this is not convenient. This is not something you're going to see Instagram influencers do as a flex just yet. But it works so quickly. After they put it in, it took about 4 hours for it to input text on a computer. And O'Keefe received this in April of 2020. So he's had it for a while before he was tweeting on December 23rd, 2021. And that's just so, I don't know, it seems like too powerful, unless there was a way to make sure that, someone's mind didn't wander while they were thinking their tweet or while they were thinking their comment on a forum, etc. This feels like it would make things potentially very awkward. Like, as soon as you can transmit images rather than text, you'll run into some weird stuff. Also, this is maybe the first in the field in this regard, but it's a harbinger. It's not a novelty. Yeah. One of the other things Tesla is working on is the Neuralink, which starts human trials this year.
Yeah, I gotta say, when I first read that tweet, Ben, I couldn't help but think about what was the line that Alexander Graham Bell said down the line on the first ever phone call that was transmitted. It was like, "Come, I need help," or something. He had like spilled some acid or something like that. This made me think of that. This just, I mean, it's a different can of worms, but it certainly is historical. And for people like this guy who actually need this to be able to function comfortably, I think this is incredible. But you're right. All these impulse NFT bro weirdos that just want to like shove a brain computer in there for funsies, that concerns me.
Mm-hmm. And there's already been, just for the record, there's already been an extensive body of work on applying this technology to non-human animals. Like a macaw monkey has been able to play rudimentary video games using these kind of transmission devices. It's coming. It's on the way, is the point.
Yeah. If you go to what's the name of the company, Ben? Synchron?
Synchron.
Synchron?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to their website, you linked us to that, Ben, and you can find, if you click on, I think, technology, you can see all of this laid out, how it actually functions. And I'm imagining, I may be wrong here, but from the images and text on their website, I'm imagining that this functions a lot like the interface Stephen Hawking had with his mouth, where he could move a cursor, essentially, because it's showing, it looks like a text box, right? Where you've got A through Z, 0 through 9, comma, period. And then using this Neuralink, you can, your mind is just inputting a single character at a time, the way you would be typing if you were just using one finger. I'm just like, right now, it seems like they're putting things in place that will limit some of the things, you're talking about, Ben, like, oh, there's an image that now gets published on my Instagram page or something. but you can totally see how that, take it 2 or 3 steps down the line, and that's, whoops, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting story with the creator of Stentrode and Synchron, Oxley himself. He's a neurologist, and he is also working on the idea of applying this technology to physical movement, by which I mean, like, imagine if you are paralyzed from the neck down, what if this could allow you to operate a motorized wheelchair? Or what if this could, because exoskeletons are on the way too. Don't forget about that, folks. What if this could allow you to operate an exoskeleton of some sort?
Yeah.
I think we're all still processing this because it is so new. It is so fraught with potential danger and potentially amazing, noble things. With this, we would love to hear your ideas. Do you think you're the kind of person who could have a brain implant and not accidentally post fart jokes on your social media? Or, the butt dialing of the future is a whole new ball game.
Sorry, bro. I just mind dialed you. By mistake.
Sorry, bro. Mind dialed you.